Okay.
So, the holidays are coming up, boys. And if there's one
you're right,
series
yeah.
that's really probably just the perfect way to start the season is none other than John McTiernan's Die Hard.
Yes, so you guys agree. This is a Christmas movie, right?
Yes, I agree. It is a Christmas movie, takes place in Christmas. As does the second one, I believe.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
How
could
It's actually funny.
happen to the same guy twice?
What's ironic is the first two Die Hard movies take place on Christmas. The third one doesn't. The fourth one takes place on the 4th of July. Get it? Because the fourth one. And the fifth one was released on Valentine's Day and doesn't take place on any holiday. I don't...
What the fuck?
Well, you know what's kind of a funny coincidence is that people say that, because Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and then Die Hard 2 is also a movie that takes place around Christmas time. Home Alone is basically the kids' version of Die Hard.
Oh my god, yeah.
And also the second movie takes place in Christmas, so it's very comparable.
The second one takes place in New York, just like the third Die Hard.
Yeah.
Well, no. It goes like John McClane is stuck in a building in the first movie, and Kevin McAllister's stuck at home. But then in the second movie, John McClane's it's a bigger scale. He's in an airport, and then Kevin McAllister in the second movie is in the whole city of New York. So
and unlike Die Hard, Die Hard didn't have any former presidents running around in cameos, did he?
Oh yeah.
I get
fucking Kevin.
Emphasis on former.
Where's the lobby, Mr. Trump? It's down the aisle to the right.
Yeah. Have you seen all the parodies with that joke where it's like a soundbite from something bad that Trump said at something? I am so glad we're never gonna have to complain about this asshole again. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. So, to sum up Die Hard best, it's all about a cop who's at the wrong place at the wrong time. Each and every installment, it's the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. So in the first one, he's in...
Story of my life.
He's in Nagatomi Plaza, about to enjoy Christmas with his ex-wife because he wants to see his kids over the holidays. So.
Oh no, they're married. They're married.
Are they still married, or are they? Oh wait,
yeah.
Divorced yet, but they were like they're having marital troubles. That's right.
No. So yeah, Holly and John are married in the first movie, but
that's right. Issues. It's very hard to keep track because it's like they're okay. Sorry. They are still married, but they're having marital difficulties because John's in New York and she's in Los Angeles.
He's a New York cop who goes to LA.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
And he flies from New York to
So you think it's like
he comes out to the ghost to get together, have a few laughs.
Yeah. Fucking vent. So you think, all right, well, okay, so it's just family drama, blah blah, and then the Europeans come in. European terrorists come in to take over, and they infiltrate the entire building, and they hold the head of the company hostage, for they want something inside of his secret vault in the top of the building. So John McClane, being the only inside authority figure in the entire building that isn't accounted for, it's up to him to liberate the building and stop the criminals and save his wife on Christmas. So yes, very simple premise. And what I like about it, one thing I actually really like about Die Hard is its use of geography.
Yes.
And the fact that there's only a finite amount of enemies that he has to deal with.
Yeah.
I don't know how many exactly. I think it's like 12 or something, maybe more, maybe less. But anyway, there's only a handful of of like henchmen in the group, and a really excellent mastermind played by Alan Rickman.
Hans Gruber.
Gruber, one of my favorite villains. Oh my god.
Yeah. Now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
It's a nice suit, Mr. Nagatomi. I'd hate to stain it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I love about just the character of John McClane in this is that he is the everyman.
Yeah, no, he's not a Stallone, he's not a Schwarzenegger. He's a regular ass guy, a schlub,
Well,
if you
to be
will.
fair, he is a police officer. He's a cop.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's not like an action hero type where it's like
Yeah, I guess.
guns blazing, like
Yeah.
muscles ripped and all that. He's an average looking dude.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like flying, and he's like having troubles with his marriage and stuff, and he's like lives so far away from his family and all that. It's nice, and yeah, it's you really get behind him, and you want him. And the best part is another thing that's cool about John McClane is he's not invincible. He
No.
has
Yes.
to be very, very resourceful and careful in every single action that he takes, that he embarks in. When he's in a shootout and there's glass all over the floor and he has no choice but to run through the glass, it severely cuts up his feet.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest scenes is when the roof's about to blow up, he has no way out, and the only thing he can do is to tie a fucking fire hose around him and bungee off the building and try to crash through a nearby window.
And Lyle, those two things you mentioned were factored into the NES game based on
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Oh yeah, I haven't played that fucking thing.
Yeah.
But
It's very important that you actually mention that broken glass scene, Lyle, because that's a very important scene that reminds us that he's human. Because upon each entry in the Die Hard movies, and we'll get to those, he just basically becomes like a superhuman, and it doesn't even matter if he's vulnerable to anything that we would relate to.
Yeah. That's the thing about John McClane. He's likable. He's not invincible, but he's determined and very crafty as well.
Do you know who the cinematographer for this movie was?
Who was Don DeBont, right?
Yeah, Jean de Bont.
John DeBont, yeah.
Yeah, Jean de Bont did the cinematography for a lot of movies, like the Hunt for Red October, and
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a lot of films. And then his directorial debut was Speed,
which is like the best Die Hard knockoff ever.
It's Die Hard on a bus.
Bring up this Die Hard spawned a ton of
imitators,
off-brand imitator movies. But what I find intriguing is that in the imitator movies, the protagonists are superhuman compared to John McClane, who's just an average guy. I'll give you a couple examples. In Under Siege, you have Steven Seagal, who plays a martial arts master who is taking terrorists on board a battleship.
But he's the cook.
In Air Force One, you have Harrison Ford as the president who beats up terrorists with his bare hands as they try to hijack his plane.
Get off my
He even created one of the funniest lines in action movie history. He grabs Gary Oldman by the parachute belt and he extends the chute and strangles Gary Oldman and snaps his neck. Get off my plane. And then in another Die Hard knockoff, which came out very recently, Olympus Has Fallen, Die Hard in the White House. Gerard Butler is this Gerard Butler is an invincible as fuck Secret Service agent. He does get cut up a little bit, but other than that,
Well, no, you said Olympus Has Fallen, but the same year, White House Down.
White House Down isn't a Die Hard knockoff, though.
But they are very similar in concept.
They're copycat movies.
White House Under Siege. Get it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Die Hard is a fucking classic. It's probably like a master class in action filmmaking.
Absolutely.
I recommend everyone to watch it. I guess it's a little early to say, but yeah, it is the highest of the franchise.
Yeah.
But moving on.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Indeed.
And then shooting the
has
right in the face.
It has the best shot of a guy falling off a building that you'll ever see. Oh my God.
Did you know that they let him go on one? They were supposed to count to 3 for
Alan Rickman there?
What?
Oh yeah, when they do that slow motion shot and he just drops and you see the
Alan Rickman was supposed to just be dropped on the number 3. They were supposed to say 1, 2, 3, we'll let you go, but they said 1, and then they dropped him, and that shot in the movie of him in slow motion of him reacting.
That's so brilliant because it's authentic.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't a hostage.
Yeah.
Man, so good. So moving on to Die Hard 2, which I'll be honest, I haven't watched in a very, very long time, but basically it is essentially the same idea, same day, same like he wants to visit his wife, But he's waiting at an airport, and lo and behold, another
Well, no. Well, no.
info.
What actually happened is that John McClane's at the airport trying to pick up Holly, but
Yeah.
Holly's on one of the planes that gets hijacked by these terrorists that are taking over the airport.
Another terrorist situation.
They're controlling the runway. They're controlling the radars. They're throwing planes off of like balance in terms of like, are they going to land or not? So there's three planes that are essentially getting hijacked, and
they're all doing this to liberate a political prisoner that they that's right. Their leader.
It's funny. Before I saw this movie and I saw the poster, I thought it was going to be like Air Force One or Passenger 57. I thought it was John McClane, a Die Hard on a plane. But it's actually
Fly Hard.
Fly Hard.
Fly Hard. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But
I don't.
It ended up.
Rennie Harlan directed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, it has a very short cameo by Robert Patrick.
Yeah,
where like the SWAT team's like, "Hey, who do you think we are? Sit and duck."
Oh,
this would have been right before Terminator 2.
Yeah, so I really like that. That's cool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Die Hard 2 is just it's a fine, competent sequel.
It's not terrible, but it's not all that.
Yeah,
it doesn't stick in my mind very easily.
It's a movie that was actually rushed into like after Die Hard became like a box.
Oh, I can tell. It's very, very, very similar to the first one.
They immediately jumped into making a sequel. Yeah, they jumped immediately to make a sequel to this because it was such a big hit.
Yeah,
it
does feel like a cash grab.
I don't know if you guys remember how he defeats the villains at the end. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. He lets out the gas. Basically, the villains are flying off in the getaway plane, and he manages to like damage one of the fuel tanks, and it starts leaking fuel onto the tarmac. He rolls off, and he takes a lighter. I don't know who gave it to him, and he's like, I don't know what his final line was, but he just like lets it out on the strip, and it sets on fire and blows up.
Was his final line, "You're fired"?
I don't even remember.
That's the final line from Arnold in True Lies, but I'm just joking.
Yes,
action movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't really have much to say about Die Hard 2. It just kind of came and went. But
yeah, that's how I feel too.
But moving on, we go to Die Hard with a Vengeance.
And
I'm thirsty. I'm just getting a drink.
Okay.
I know.
Got your drink. Now.
I know. You want me to freeze.
Yeah, I can't believe The Incredibles actually referenced this movie. It's so cool. So, returning, we have Bruce Willis and director John McTiernan back.
Yes.
And I gotta say, it's kind of... It's a break from the formula. It's not set in Christmas. In fact, it's set in the summer of New York City, which is a smoggy place to be. Basically, the idea of the film is that Hans Gruber's brother, Simon, I think his name is? He goes by Simon. I don't know if that's his actual name.
Simon Says.
Yeah, Simon Says. So, basically, what he has is this elaborate fucking almost Riddler level of, like, puzzles that he personally wants John McClane to go through step by step by step. And it's all really just an elaborate ruse for him to steal the reserves from
Wall Street.
Yeah, Wall Street. I was gonna say Fort Knox, but no, that's Goldfinger.
Yeah,
that's Battlefield Earth.
That too. Yeah, so like and along the way, John McClane comes in contact with a store owner, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and this set a very interesting new element to the series. John McClane has a sidekick. Now, John McClane technically had a sidekick in the first movie, I believe in the second movie, with Officer Powell, who was on the outside kind of trying to keep the guys who want to storm the building at bay, because we got a guy here, he knows what he's doing, he knows the building front and back, he's our guy. So there was that element, but now it's in the forefront because Samuel L. Jackson tags along throughout most of the movie, helping John McClane out with all of these puzzles.
Yeah.
I gotta say, for a third installment, this is a really good Die Hard sequel, in my personal opinion.
No, it's definitely the best sequel to Die Hard.
Yeah, it's not better than Die Hard, but I love it a lot.
It's a proper sequel because I like that connection with the first movie. It being like there's it's Hans Gruber's brother getting revenge on him.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It feels connected.
Yeah.
and yeah, the
I like
chemistry
Jeremy
between
Irons
the
in the
chemistry
roles.
between Butch and Jules. Oh, sorry, I meant to say John and
Yeah, it's a Pulp Fiction reunion, everybody.
yeah, John and Zeus. Sorry, not Butch and Jules.
Yeah,
But,
Zeus, that was
yeah,
his name.
Hey, which came out first, Die Hard 3 or Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction a year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
What
yeah,
else
no,
can
and I actually just rewatched it again recently. I forgot how like relentlessly action packed it is. Like
no, it's really good.
not just like action packed in terms of like you need set pieces, but the movie is constantly moving at a great pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, do you guys know about the alternate ending to this movie?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like a standoff between Simon and John McClane.
It's way better than the ending to this movie.
Yeah, wasn't it something like John McClane holds a bazooka up to Simon or something?
He plays like a game of Simon Says with John plays like a game of Simon Says with
I'm gonna
yeah
look up and see if his actual name was Simon because I don't know if it was or
yeah
not. But yeah,
I'm just kidding. It's a tongue twister. John plays a game of Simon Says with Simon, and he removes like the whatever end of the bazooka is to determine whether or not what is the firing end of it. So they're
yeah.
basically spinning it, and he's asking questions, and then they basically he kills himself accidentally. But like people didn't like that because I think test audiences felt like, oh, John McClane's portrayed a little bit like a villain at the end of that movie. But
That
I
is
think
kind
that
of
was
a
actually
weird note, if I'm being honest. But
it's sort of a complex note to end it off on, but then they had to quickly like slap together a very rushed anticlimactic ending, which was just, oh, we'll shoot the wire, and then the helicopter blows up, and then that's it.
yeah, fucking let him cook.
Yeah, it felt a bit like it didn't really match the same type of energy as the whole film.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll grant it. The ending's a bit of an odd note, but it doesn't sink the experience all that much. But I see what you mean.
Now here's an interesting thing that I'll bring up about the Die Hard movies is that it's hard to say on whether or not this should have been a franchise or just a singular movie because we do have some solid entries that come out afterwards, but like
Yeah,
you'd be surprised on like there were certain Bruce Willis action films that with just a couple little tweaks, they could have been some solid Die Hard movies.
oh
Like
yeah,
The Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout. Okay, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
The Last Boy honestly, with a couple of tweaks, that The Last Boy Scout could have been a great sequel to Die Hard with a Vengeance. It could
Oh
have
yeah.
been it could have been a Die Hard 4.
Can I just say
So
one thing?
yeah.
The plot of this movie you just described, where it's like a cop goes after a terrorist who is setting up like a Riddler like conflict.
Yeah.
Feels like if Warner Brothers ever got the idea to make a prequel origin story about the life of Jim Gordon on the Gotham Police Force, they would probably copy the plot of this movie and have him go up against like who would become the guy who would become the Riddler.
Edward Nigma. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I guess it kind of just sounds like Gotham, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, sorry. Before we move on, what I was about to, my point is that like if you, I guess, enjoy Bruce Willis action films where his character acts like a smartass, then I guess you'll get like a good Die Hard vibe, like a good kick out of it. But like, does it have to be associated with Die Hard? I don't think so.
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing was this script for Die Hard with a Vengeance wasn't even originally a Die Hard script. It was just a film called Simon Says, and then they just
And
put John McClane in
and
there.
funny enough, Lyle, I don't know if you know this, but Lethal Weapon 4 was supposed to be a sequel to Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I can kind of believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
until it was retooled and just repackaged, and yeah, it sold off between studios, like from Fox to Warner Bros.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, it can. All they basically had to do is just change the names. That's it.
Yeah. Kind of like 10 Cloverfield Lane too. That probably wasn't a Cloverfield film until Bad Robot snatched it up.
Yeah.
Man, isn't script writing great? You make an idea and it's like, oh, this feels like I don't know, like a speed movie. Let's make a speed movie. But my movie's not a speed movie. Yes, it is. It is now. And you sit the fuck down and we'll take your idea. You think just because you have an idea that it belongs to you? Suck it up, Buttercup. All right, moving along. We have kind of a contestable entry, but one that I don't think is as bad as some people make it out to be. Live Free or Die Hard. The fourth.
Yeah, I find this a guilty pleasure, kind of a fun movie.
Yeah, it's all right,
but it's not a great film.
No.
Like it's over
one.
the top in a very fun way.
Yeah. But some people complained, like the average. I don't know what the other Die Hard movies are rated. The other three were rated R before this one, right?
Yeah. John McClane could actively say, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
This movie got screened in theaters with a PG-13 rating. However, they did release an unrated cut on DVD when that came out.
Yeah, that was a popular thing to do at the time.
But yeah, no.
The unrated cut is actually the cut that I'm used to. I watch that way more than the theatrical.
Oh, yeah. But
anytime I catch it on TV and it's the theatrical and he like says, "How about yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and then kills the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on.
But what's really lame was that when the PG-13 cut was released in theaters, people still complained about the F-bomb drop, and I'm like, this is like, you know, this was before cancel culture was a problem. It's like, who the hell cares? Like, in a PG-13 movie, the rating system will allow you to drop one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
And movie studios take liberties with this more often than people are aware.
Yeah. Well, I guess to summarize this one, essentially, there's a cyber terrorist group. Yeah, more terrorism, I guess. And their actor, they just want to corrupt the entire United States network, I guess. And I forget if they want to steal something or not. It's been a little while too. I'm a little fuzzy on some of the details. But
they said it's a I forget the term that they use, but basically they're trying to take down like everything that is now run by computers. And
they called it a fire sale, I think.
Yeah,
fire sale. That's the term. Yeah, fire sale. Yeah.
So John McClane has to team up with this super hacker genius played by Justin Long.
He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun in this movie.
He really is.
I kind of like him in the role, honestly. Like he works. He's a complete departure from your typical sidekick. He's not even like close to like Samuel L. Jackson's character in any way. He's just like this guy who's good with computers, which is nice because John McClane doesn't know the first thing about a goddamn computer.
Yeah,
that's the fun part of it.
When you're on a FaceTime, if you cover the mic, if you cover the camera, it doesn't cover the mic, so they can hear you.
Yeah, Justin Long's character is a great like contrast from John McClane because John in this movie, because he's so much older, he feels kind of like a fish out of water in the digital era.
Yeah, exactly.
Understanding technology. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how he even talks down to Justin Long sometimes. Like, come on, we gotta go do this thing us old people. We gotta do this thing these old people call jogging. You ever heard of that? It's like, yeah. Man, can I have some ketchup packets and fucking dropping here? Oh, and then they have to meet up with Kevin Smith at one point. It was like this ultimate hacker, and I was like, dead. And then they would and Kevin Smith and Bruce Willis would later team up and make a thing called Cop Out. So.
Oh God! Well,
that's a whole new can of worms. I don't feel like going into that.
Kevin Smith's, filmography had some duds, and unfortunately,
Well, not only that is the fact that like he now can't stand Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis is
He
such a dick to
idolized
him.
Bruce Willis.
That's
I'm sure working with him in this Die Hard movie was like a dream come true.
Well, was, but when he had to direct Bruce Willis and actually be the boss of Bruce Willis, that's when everything fell apart.
I can't tell. Was this movie like the kind of beginning of the era of zombie Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis became really apathetic in the mid to late 2000s, so roughly this is when
this was around that time.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean zombie Bruce Willis was there, but there were still a few roles where it seemed like he did care, like Looper. And
I loved him in
Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, Moonrise Kingdom. I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, like there's some movies where you can tell he gave a shit.
Over the Hedge, where he provided his voice for the raccoon.
Yeah.
As much as this was a disappointing movie, Glass, he was not bad in reprising his role.
Yeah. I guess he's not really full on zombie apathetic. I just want to go home, Bruce Willis in this one. He does. I still feel John McClane in the role.
Well, now that leads us to.
But wait. I will say this movie kind of starts to jump the shark on how the fuck does he survive half of it. Takes a car and somehow flies it off, and like not even off ramp, just like a bump or something, and destroys a helicopter with it.
No, he drives a car at full speed. He jumps out, and like you'd think his arm would be broken after jumping out, but like it hits like a toll booth, and it actually ramps off and hits a helicopter.
Yeah, it ramps off nothing and just destroys a fucking helicopter.
Then he has to.
And then he's fighting like an F-16 or some.
No, an F-35.
Okay, I was close, but anyways, like a giant airplane or something, and it's a
jet
firing off at all cylinders at John, and I think he throws like a grenade into its wings or something, and he just through this narrow like concrete tarmac like road, like the bridge that's like broken off. He's like sliding down, and explosions just flying right behind him. I'm like, what happened? I was hurt by glass.
Okay, honestly, again, as much as that is so over the top and so like jump the shark, definitely. Most of the action scenes in this movie look very in camera and practical. That I kind of give the movie props for at least making it not so
all
digital.
All the silliness aside, it's fine. I'll take it. Like it's still good. It doesn't take me out of the movie as much as the one we're coming up to, but like it's all well and good. If this was like the last Die Hard movie, I'd accept it.
Yeah,
but no.
It's also kind of nice to see John's kids grow up too, because the movie actually focuses a lot of his relationship with his daughter, played by
Mary Elizabeth,
a pretty young Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
This was before.
Yeah. So sorry, just to backtrack to clarify, like because you were kind of confused about like the marriage of John and Holly, is that it's established in Die Hard with a Vengeance that they were just splitting up, so that's why he's like going on a drinking binge.
Yeah.
But I guess
he has a hangover the entire time. We forgot to mention that.
I got a fucking headache. Yeah.
You got
all right,
and I got a bad fucking migraine all fucking day.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. So, anyways, Live Free or Die Hard, not bad, pretty good. Now we get into the one that I feel like just fucking made this series Die Hard. A Good Day to Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia. Which is the actual tagline in the movie.
No, this movie has some of the worst posters I've ever seen for a bigger film. You gotta look at it, guys. Just type in these posters for A Good Day to Die Hard.
I'm gonna do that now, just to
While Evan's doing that, I guess I'll just recant. There's like no plot to this movie, so it's so easy to break down. And basically,
I think this movie has the worst editing I've ever seen for any movie.
Worst editing, worst action sequences, bad color grading. It's all fucking blue and gray. There's no life to any of it. Bad acting, like just everything is a downgrade from the other installments.
There's absolutely no excitement or enthusiasm in this movie.
Like Die Hard 2 was a better sequel, for crying out loud. That was competent.
Oh my god, these posters are color corrected horribly.
They look like something.
It feels like he's inside a volcano.
It looks like something you'd see at a $5 bin in Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so like the plot is basically John McClane.
And look at this Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Russia poster. Like the you can barely read the text.
It looks like Mr. Clean.
He really.
Mr.
Is that a real? Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, that's a real poster.
No, because I heard stories. Bruce Willis will sometimes not even show up for like posters or anything, like any photo.
Oh, that's funny.
Any photo.
This is when
or anything.
This is when he was like full on zombie Bruce Willis.
This is pathetic Bruce Willis who will come in for a day on some like low budget piece of shit, and he'll have his stunt double do most of the work.
But yeah, no, these posters are horrendous.
So yeah, the plot of A Good Day to Die Hard is essentially John McClane he's on vacation. He needs to go visit his son who has been arrested in Russia, so he's been told. So he goes there, and it turns out his son is a CIA operative who's trying to like do a thing and stop some Russian bad guys. And John McClane tags along, even though he has absolutely no jurisdiction. He just wants to kill people, I guess. A lot of fighting happens. They win, and they go back to America. Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck, this was horrible. Like...
Okay, I want to bring your attention. I want to bring both your attention to something that is mind-blowing and shocking on the laziness and just the amount of indifference that was put into this movie. And I don't even know who to blame for this, the filmmakers or Bruce Willis. But this is quite a shocking thing that I discovered that not a lot of people pointed out.
Okay.
So there's a bit in this movie. Okay, so you just watched it recently, Lyle. So
I watched it. I think I literally watched it yesterday or the night before. Yeah.
Okay, so that first action chase scene in the cars, where John McClane is like ramming the bad guy's car, and then it was right before their cars crashed, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw this movie in theaters with my buddy KJ. Because we were kind of excited. We thought, hey, a Die Hard movie and it's rated R. Like we were kind of excited.
Yeah, that was
right?
the big selling point. It's back to rated R.
And there was a moment in this movie that both of us looked at each other because we knew exactly what we were thinking because we heard it, and we went online afterwards and eventually when this movie was available to watch at home, we were right. So there's a part in Live Free or Die Hard on that freeway scene where at the end where he's driving the truck and that jet is chasing him.
Yeah.
John McClane yells out, "Is that it? Huh? Is that your best shot?" And in A Good Day to Die Hard, they use that exact same audio track in this movie.
Oh my god. I don't even remember. I think I barely vaguely remember him saying something like that. And yeah, it was kind of off-putting too. Yeah.
It's like ADR that was like thrown into the movie, but I was thinking, wow, you couldn't even got Bruce Willis to do proper looping for this movie? Are you kidding me?
You couldn't have just said the line again or have a different inflection?
It's the exact same. No, I'll try to show it to you. I'm not kidding. I've done it before where I show both of them back to back, and I kind of blow people's minds about it.
Oh, looky here, Cody the Scanner, blowing people's minds.
Yeah.
Crazy movie trivia.
My buddy KJ and I, we watched A Live Free or Die Hard a lot, and we knew that line. And I think even right before we saw A Good Day to Die Hard, we rewatched Live Free. And it was still fresh in our minds, and we looked at each other in the theater, and we're like, "That's the same take."
Yeah.
So that just showcases the laziness and indifference of this movie.
It just doesn't have any of the charm from the original Die Hard movies. The villain is the biggest laughing, joking numbnut I've ever seen.
I don't even remember who the villain is.
No, he's just some guy. He's like, oh, I could have been a dancer, but I'm going to be a terrorist and villain now. Ha ha ha.
Lyle, do you guys remember?
No, because he has this accent, and he just keeps laughing, and Connie's like, oh, bad decision, man. Ah. And
Wait, do you guys remember how hesitant he was of jumping off a building in the first one?
Yeah.
yes.
And this one, him and his son just flat out jump out of a fucking high-story
Take a
window.
shot every time you see John McClane smash through
Oh my god.
a solid object or a glass window and just be fine the next shot.
The scene that made me like hate this movie was when they jump into a abandoned building through concrete floors into a rancid swimming pool.
Oh, and
What the fuck?
Evan, you forgot to add in Chernobyl.
Oh, what the fuck?
They even say like, I'm worried about this radiation. What does it do? Makes you go bald. Makes you lose your hair. Don't have to worry about that.
Womp womp womp.
Anyways, I had one more note to say about this. Yeah, at this point, like, John McClane is Bruce Willis. Like, Bruce Willis is just playing himself, standing in a scene, chittering away with a really, really, like, poorly cast Jai Courtney.
Yeah. Jai,
honestly, if it wasn't for...
Jai Courtney did better stuff this decade.
You know, if it wasn't for his role in Boomerang, I would say he's like the worst, most blandest actor I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, his character is just annoying too, because the only thing I get from him is that he really hates his dad, and I'm not really all that. I don't really care why, because they're just gonna like have to stick together no matter what. But unlike the dynamic in Die Hard with a Vengeance, or even like Live Free or Die Hard, there's not really much dynamic being played. It's just like they kind of make jabs at each other, like, "Oh, you're getting older," and like, "Ah, well, you're just a kid," or "Oh,
yeah.
Remember when I used to take you to the swimming pool or whatever?" And it's just like, all right, this is all a lot of stuff that's been inferred. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so boring. The movie's so fucking boring.
I just remember seeing this on Valentine's Day weekend 2013 when it came out with my dad because I didn't have a date that year, and yeah, my dad and I my dad and I would go to the movies all the time, and we thought, oh, Die Hard, fun. We came out of that feeling drained, like what the fuck.
Yeah, no, I was exhausted watching this too. Like I didn't like it for 1 minute. I think the only two bits I like that made it feel like Die Hard. Oh yeah, I forgot one more thing. Another thing I didn't like about the movie is like they would constantly have gun battles. Just a wave after the people with guns running around shooting each other. I'm like, this isn't interesting. I liked it back in the first movie where I knew there was only like 20 of these dudes and John McClane had to be very careful as to how he took care of them and dispatched them. And in this, it's just like bam, 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 and it's mind-numbing, and I hate it. But anyways, like, where was I? I'm losing my mind here. Oh yeah, the two scenes I liked was I liked the bit where it's really early in the beginning where he's like in the cab with the Russian guy, just chattering away, kind of talking about like life in America and all that, and the cab guy is playing off of him, and it kind of reminded me of the thing in the first movie with Argyle, the cab, the limo driver of him to Nakatomi Plaza.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. Yeah,
that was a cute bit.
Yeah, with the Russian cabbie. Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian cabbie was all right. He wasn't in it for long, but whatever. And then the second bit with where Jai Courtney and Bruce Willis, I'm not even referring to them by their character names anymore. They confront the big bad guy, not the real numbnut bad guy, but the real bad guy, and he acts all like, "Oh no, it wasn't me. It was them. They're the evil ones. I'm just trying to survive." And it's kind of like what Hans Gruber did when like John McClane finally came face to face and was like, "Oh God, please don't shoot me. Oh, I just got back from the party," and he has to change his voice and everything and his entire attitude. But that was a dumb scene, anyways. It got really stupid because it's just like they just punched the guy a few times. It's like, "You're coming with us."
Doesn't he always yell, "I'm on vacation" in this movie?
He does. He's always like, "I'm on vacation." I'm like, I thought you were picking your son up from prison.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Vacation. You're literally just like being a father or whatever. I don't know. Like,
but you guys, after you're done here, you should Google. There's something that just got released recently. It's like a 2-minute short on, or not a short, I would say. It's like a commercial for this battery called Die Hard Batteries, where reprises his role as John McClane in this like just action-packed commercial for batteries.
For fucking batteries.
I think we.
And it is far better. Those 2 minutes are far better than A Good Day to Die Hard.
I haven't seen this movie. Apparently in Lego Movie 2, Bruce Willis actually reprises as John Wayne, and like the characters are running through a vent, and they just bump into him. It's like, oh hey, I was just talking to myself.
You said John Wayne.
John McClane.
Yeah.
John Wayne McClane.
Yeah.
I saw
After
Lego
all.
Movie 2, and I don't even remember that scene.
I can't confirm nor deny because I haven't seen the movie. I just heard of it. Anyway,
honestly, in short, it's like when you really look at these Die Hard movies, you think to yourself, it's kind of like that show 24 with Jack Bauer. It's like,
I happen
it's
to.
not a bad comparison actually.
I have.
How much can this man take, basically? Like,
I happen to think. Cody, I happen to think 24 is one of the best shows ever made. I love that show so much.
I remember watching the first season and feeling like, yeah, this is clearly Die Hard, but like a day.
Yeah.
I just remember the Simpsons parody.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it myself.
Yeah.
So I need to wrap up my thoughts on Die Hard because I've been talking at great length about it. I'm sorry.
At what point do you feel like it should have stopped?
Well, that's the weird thing because I don't hate most of the sequels except for the very last one. I think they're all perfectly passable.
So do you think it's like Pirates for me where I really dislike the last two, but the first three are fine?
I think they just should have like hung their hats on the fourth one and just been like, all right, we're done. We've had our fun. I think it's time to retire. Or maybe just made a better fifth one. I don't know. But the fifth
Can I say one more point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way that they can save this franchise is that if they bring back John McTiernan and they have Bruce Willis come back and he actually gives a shit and they name this next and final movie Good Habits Die Hard.
That could be good.
That's a pretty good end. That's a pretty good.
Oh no! Old Habits.
Old Habits Die Hard.
That's even better. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, what the fuck is John McTiernan doing these days?
Do you feel like
he's in jail?
Do you feel like they should go the classic Hollywood franchise revival route where they pass the torch from John McClane to some youngin where like he's the new badass of the hypothetical franchise?
I don't know about that. I think maybe they should just put it to rest. I don't even know what you do. I mean, was Hans Gruber's like son gonna come out of nowhere and be like, "You killed my daddy and my uncle, so
maybe
fuck you."
Maybe John McClane is like Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, where it's like, I'm too old for this shit.
I don't want him to just be like a grovelly like old man who's like, my hip hurts. I gotta get new shoes.
But that was part of the character. I know it worked for Lethal Weapon, but
maybe I'm just thinking too much like Indiana.
Oh, sorry, Lyle. You were asking what happened to John McTiernan. He's actually in jail.
He's in
what?
What?
For what?
Yeah.
What happened?
He got arrested for. I was trying to see exactly what it was, the charges. You guys might have to look it up yourself. It was something involving some insurance fraud or something like that, but he's in jail.
God damn.
One of those like more blue collar things.
Jesus Christ.
White collar crime.
Oh yeah, when he gets released, he needs to make Old Habits Die Hard with Bruce Willis.
Once he gets out.
I'm sure that's the first thing he's gonna do, Cody. He's just gonna be like, fuck it. I'm making a Die Hard movie.
Now that I'm out of jail.
If it ended up great, then I'd say get the John McTiernan trilogy of Die Hard. Get the first one, the third one, and the sixth one, and skip the others, and just be like, yeah, solid. But
for now, I only go first one, third one, and maybe fourth one.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think the first one is by far the best, the absolute must watch. The other ones are okay, sure, varying degrees of success, but none I would say absolute failures, except for the fifth one, which I just think is like ungodly lazy.
It's not even John McClane. Doesn't even feel like him.
No, it feels like a dollar bin like Bruce Willis movie that you see from like another country or something. Like just like he showed up for a day and then like went home and like drank some Jack or something. But anyways, yeah, basically Die Hard has run its course. I don't need to see another one. Just should have wrapped up earlier than now.
Okay.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucking franchise.